Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brendan Plays, and welcome to this week's edition of the Let's Talk Thursdays podcast. This week on the show, we're going to talk about the upcoming WWE Battleground pay-per-view. Will Brock Lesnar be leaving WWE and heading back to UFC? We're going to talk about the rumours. We have a new family on Raw. Jason Jordan is now, I guess, Jason Angle. Kurt Angle's big reveal. Let's just say it was pretty underwhelming, but we'll talk about that in big detail. And a few other little news and rumors, like, for example, Rey Mysterio. Is he going back to WWE or is he heading to Global Force Wrestling? Things like that. So plenty to talk about in this week's show, including all your questions, which of course you can leave in the comment section down below on this video or over on our Facebook page. Brendan Plays is the Facebook name that you need to search up, and leave a like on our page while you are there. A couple little news and tidbits coming up for my channel. We just put out NXT TakeOver number 6. If you haven't already seen it, go ahead and check it out. It is available to watch on my channel right now. We are getting closer to SummerSlam. I know I've been a little bit slow on the Universe Mode videos. It hasn't been planned. I've kind of wanted to get more videos done. It's just been some scheduling, just been, I guess, some issues. And I guess I'm motivated a lot more to do Total Extreme Wrestling videos at the moment. Really enjoying that, and we got some news about that in a moment. But we have got the Takeover special, SummerSlam. We've got 3 more episodes of Universe Mode to go until SummerSlam, so I'm going to try and get that done. Now, I would like to have done SummerSlam next weekend, but I won't be around. I'm going to be going away next weekend, so I don't know when the stream will be, if I do a stream. I would like to stream SummerSlam, obviously being such a big show, so I guess, can I wait another week to do that? That's the issue that I've got. So yeah, I'm a little bit torn. I probably don't have enough time to get it done this week anyways, with the other episodes I've got to do, and pay-per-views generally take a good week to make. It is a 2-hour video, but SummerSlam's going to be a big one, so it could even be 2.5 hours. So it's going to take some time to get it done. So I don't even know if I'll be able to get it done for the weekend. But look, if I have it done, if I've got, I don't know, we'll see. But if I do have it around about, finished before next weekend, maybe I'll just upload it straight on the channel if you guys are that desperate to watch it. But yeah, I would like to do a stream, but it is up in the air at the moment. I don't know. We'll have to make a decision. I know it's been so delayed already. That's the issue. I've taken so long to get it done already. I don't want to waste any more time. So if I do have it ready and available, I'd rather get it to you guys sooner. But I do really like the streams, and obviously SummerSlam is a big one. So you would like to stream that and have everyone come in there and watch it, because I got a lot of big things planned for that show that I think you guys would really enjoy coming along to the stream and seeing. So I'm a little bit torn there, but we do have TakeOver, and I gotta say, I thought it was a pretty good show. One of my better ones, I guess, in some recent times, I think. I mean, I think the TakeOvers, the goal for the NXT TakeOver shows, it's not to be a pay-per-view, it's just to be a culmination of some rivalries. We put all the titles on the line, we have our big matches, and sometimes it's just straight up the matches. It's just what happens, and the matches take place, and that's, I guess, where we just go and see the big title matches. It's really a show full of matches, not shows full of, storylines taking place or beginning or angles starting, things like that. A few twists and turns will happen, of course, but I guess it's a mini version of a pay-per-view, not quite, I don't know, but it's my main goal on it is just to showcase the big title matches and have the best matches I can on the TakeOver. So I guess if you're coming there, I suppose, to see some extravagant things, sometimes you may be disappointed, but if you're coming there just to watch the title matches and see the combination of the rivalries, I think that's exactly what you're going to get. So that's my goal anyways with the TakeOvers. Whereas the pay-per-views is kind of a bit of a mixture of both. Obviously we have the big title matches going down, and we have the odd storyline feuds happening as well. Sometimes we may have a heel turn or a face turn or some debuts and things like that, or a few different things taking place. Even sometimes maybe a promo or two on the shows. I don't know, but it's more of a mixture anyways. But you guys know how my pay-per-views go down. But yeah, so if you haven't already, do check out the TakeOver. And like I said, SummerSlam will be coming soon. And hopefully SummerSlam is good. Only 7 matches. I was going to try and push another match out on the show, but I don't think I'll do that. I'll just keep it at the 7 and keep 7 good matches on the show rather than try and force another match there. But yeah, keep an eye out on my Twitter and my Facebook page, and I'll give you guys an update, and probably give you guys an update on next week's podcast. If that does take place, it might be a pre-recorded one, depending, because I could be away around about this time next week. I know I've been a little bit slack with the podcast as well, been up and down a little bit. It's just kind of going in between a few places at the moment, just kind of going in and out a couple of times, once a month or so I'm kind of away, so it's just the way it is. But hopefully we can get more on a schedule like we used to going forward. We've just kind of been a little bit all over the place with the videos, but hoping to improve that. Speaking of videos, my Total Extreme Wrestling videos, I think they've been going really good. I hope you guys have been enjoying it. I've been given an opportunity to promote the Total Extreme Wrestling game, and in doing so, I have a $5 discount code to offer you guys. So if you go onto the Total Extreme Wrestling web store, a web store on the Grey Dog Software's website, you can buy Total Extreme Wrestling and you get $5 off using the discount code TEW5. That is an exclusive offer, so it's only available to people who watch Brendan Plays, so that's pretty cool. And as well as that, I've been given 3 copies of Total Extreme Wrestling to give away. So I think I'm going to give away 2 copies to people who watch on the channel, and I might give away 1 copy of the game to my dedicated forum and Discord members. So keep an eye out for that. Some giveaways and opportunities. We'll be definitely posting that up in the next couple of days. And I think it might just be a standard giveaway like last time we did with the WWE 2K17 giveaway. I think that was 2K17. Where people can just enter by subscribing or follow me on Twitter or liking the Facebook page. Just the standard things. That's an easy way to kind of do it, an easy way to enter in. So keep an eye out for that, and that should be taking place in the next few days, as I said. And you get a chance to win a copy of TW16, which would be pretty cool, especially if you have been enjoying the Total Extreme Wrestling videos and you want to try the game out for yourself. So keep an eye out for that. And if you can't get a copy out of the giveaway, well, you can get a $5 discount until the end of the month, I believe. So you got a couple of weeks there until that will expire. So take up on that and get yourself an opportunity to get the game if you are looking to buy it. I don't actually receive anything back for that. It's just I didn't ask for anything in return. I just said, hey, my subscribers want to buy your game. Can we get a discount code to give them a bit of a discount when they go buy the game to, I suppose, say thanks to watching my videos maybe, and just to support them, because I'm really a big fan of the game, and I really want Total Extreme Wrestling to keep on growing and getting better. So it's kind of my way of giving back to them, but also, I get a bit of a kickback as well, I guess, by giving away the few games out. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, keep an eye out for that. And I probably will make a video on that when I do make the giveaway live, so you'll probably be notified there. But that's pretty much all I've got for Brendan Plays news, and we're going to get into some wrestling coverage. We may start things off with the Brock Lesnar situation and his future in the WWE. Is he going to the UFC? Is he heading back there? Is he staying here in WWE? It's a tough one. I mean, Brock Lesnar is 40 years old now. I think he recently just turned 40. So he's up there in age. And I guess if this rumors are true, now the rumors at the moment is that it's not true. Jeff Novitzky, who is the vice president of the athlete health and performance of UFC, he said that there is zero truth to the rumors of Lesnar going back in and being re-entered into the USADA drug testing pool. So is that the USADA drug testing pool? So basically, for Lesnar, I'm not much of an MMA guy, so I'm not very knowledgeable in this area, but for what I know, Lesnar has to go into that drug testing pool to be eligible to fight. He still has a suspension, which I believe is frozen. I think Meltzer said that he would be eligible to fight in December at some point, so it wouldn't be any time soon for him to be having a fight. But Lesnar still has a contract with WWE until WrestleMania, and then I'm sure the negotiations will begin around January to see what's going on there. So if he is planning on heading back into UFC, I think, if anything, it's going to happen around WrestleMania beyond. So, Lesnar would have to work WrestleMania. There's no doubt about it. WWE would make him work WrestleMania. I know there is a deal where Lesnar can, do a UFC fight, but there's no doubt about it. WWE would shut that down for a WrestleMania and probably Royal Rumble as well. So if Lesnar was to fight, it probably would be this time next year if the suspension is there, or in early January, but that would also jeopardize Lesnar being at WrestleMania as well. So, if he is to fight, it probably would be around about this time next year, and he would more than likely not be a contracted WWE wrestler anymore. He would be a UFC fighter once again and probably be under contract with them. Whether or not it's a multi-deal fight or is it just a one-shot deal, that's to remain to be seen. But at the moment, there seems to be no truth to the rumor, and I'm happy about that because, well, Lesnar's obviously the champion right now in the WWE, albeit it's been pretty embarrassing. He's got a pretty easy schedule right now. He has wrestled, 10 minutes? Maybe 12 minutes or something this year in total. Not a lot. I mean, maybe he's done a house show, I don't know, here or there. But on TV, he hasn't really had to do much. His Samoa Joe match, some people criticize me for saying it wasn't very good. I just didn't enjoy it at all. I was expecting so much more, so disappointed by it. So for me, that match was a dud. I was unhappy at all. The Goldberg match, albeit very small, it was, very, very short, I should say. It was very fun. So I did enjoy that, yes, but the Joe one was just mainly, 3 minutes of Lesnar being in the clutch and, Lesnar getting a few moves in and getting the finish. So it was okay, but it could have been so much more. You think of Joe and Lesnar on paper, you think of this monumental, big, clash of these behemoths, go on 10, 15 minutes, just destroying each other, throwing each other around the ring. Just didn't really happen. So I was disappointed, yeah, but Lesnar's schedule's been pretty easy. And he's getting paid, I think, $5 million or something along those lines. Big money for the easiest gig he could possibly get. I mean, Lesnar is just doing nothing. He's the champion right now, shows up. I think he's cut, one or two promos in the last year. He barely has to talk, just stands there. And Heyman does everything for him. He stands there, does a jig and a dive, and then he goes home. So he's got the easiest gig in the world. I don't know why he would want to throw that away. And, I think Lesnar at this point, this contract he's got with WWE could very well be his last, because I feel like him being 40, he's got so much money now. I mean, what's the motivation for Brock Lesnar? Is money really the motivation? Because he's got enough money where he doesn't need any more. He's done. He can leave and live a happy, healthy life forever. He doesn't have to worry about money anymore. I'm sure he's probably made some decent business investments and, got his money in some good places. He's obviously earning a lot of money every year at the moment, so it's not as though he's starved of money in recent years. If he's smart enough, he's probably been saving up. He's probably got plenty of money available to him. Is there any real need for him to go back and fight in the UFC, even if it is for a big payday? I don't know. Is there any real need for Lesnar to stick around and work the odd WWE match for the money? I don't know. Is money enough for Lesnar now? I mean, I kind of wonder, why is Brock still around? I mean, I can get it the last few years. He's made so much money where he can now leave and be fine. But does he want to stick around for another year or two, earn a few more million, negotiate, try and get an even better deal, even more money for the same amount, or even less dates? Maybe. So quite often, we saw this with his last contract. There was a lot of rumor, is he going to UFC? Is he staying with WWE? He ended up staying with WWE. He did a UFC fight later on, but the UFC thing, I think, was a big leverage factor in getting Lesnar more money. So is this another ploy by Lesnar to say, hey, I'm thinking about going to UFC, you guys better offer me X amount of money, or I'm going to head back there and leave the WWE? So, maybe that's the case. But I certainly don't think Lesnar's going to be fighting anytime soon. The rumor that he's going to be dropping the belt at SummerSlam and going to fight in UFC soon after that, I don't see it happening. So I think if you're worried about that, if you're a Lesnar fan, you're worried about him leaving, I wouldn't be. I think he'd be sticking around. And I doubt, if WWE kind of had an inkling that Lesnar was thinking about going back to UFC, I doubt he would be the champion right now. I think they would have probably given the belt to Joe at Great Balls of Fire because, yeah, I mean, obviously SummerSlam's a bigger deal, but Joe, obviously coming off a big, momentum, that would have been a fine opportunity to do so. The rumor is that Lesnar, I think, said to someone that he's dropping it to Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, so take that with what you will. I don't know. It's just rumors going around at the moment. We'll see at SummerSlam, and maybe in the next week or two we'll get more information, but my early prediction is he is sticking around with the potential that he may sign with UFC after WrestleMania, but I think at this point, if Lesnar is happy with what he's doing, if he's happy wrestling, why would he leave it? He's got the easiest gig in the world. Fighting and training all that time for UFC is pretty hard. It's at least a 3-month camp he's got to go into. He's got to work his butt off, and he's got to have the fight. And it could tarnish his legacy, his reputation. Obviously, the drug thing obviously didn't help, but it didn't really affect him too much. If anything, it kind of put him back in the mainstream spotlight again. The UFC obviously need another star. They need a star in the heavyweight division, even if it is for a fight. They need Lesnar. He's obviously a big draw. So I'm sure UFC would love to have him, but I think WWE will be very reluctant to let him go, and they're going to try and give him whatever he wants to stay around, because they've obviously spent... the first year that Lesnar was around, him versus John Cena, Triple H... I don't think that was a great year for Lesnar in the WWE. It was okay, but when Lesnar beat Cena as convincingly as he did at SummerSlam, that's when, to me, Lesnar became the beast and was put back on the map and was just the unstoppable guy, just a monster. How could anyone beat this guy? And ever since then, have spent so much time and investment in making him that star. So I think WWE would be really reluctant to let all that time and effort be wasted for Lesnar just to walk away. Before they've really had Lesnar even put anyone over, I'm sure the plan would be Reigns beats Lesnar clean at WrestleMania. If that was the case, I'm sure that's probably in the works. Maybe they thought about SummerSlam doing it instead. Instead, they're probably going to go with the 4-way, which I think is the better call. And if they do, I'm looking forward to that match a lot, because we know we're going to get a long match out of that one, because Lesnar can, have a nap for 10 minutes whilst the other guys do all the work, and at least we'll get 15, 20 minutes out of that matchup, which would be fantastic. But, so I guess we'll see at SummerSlam what's going on, but I think at this point, Les will be sticking around. But if he is planning on leaving, well, you better start having him lose, because, the first guy that Lesnar should lose to would be a Braun Strowman. Lesnar should lose to Strowman, put Strowman on the map, legitimize Strowman, huge victory for Strowman, and replace Lesnar with Braun Strowman as that monster who's unstoppable. Samoa Joe, you could say yes, but Braun Strowman to me is that better, much bigger, much stronger, much, has that character already down packed. I think that would be a better situation for him. And then look, if they want to do a Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and whatever, that's fine. But I would definitely say Strowman should be the one to beat Lesnar clean first. That's just me. Because then you put over a new guy. Roman Reigns doesn't need it. He's already established. And whether you like Reigns or not, he is the man. He is. We had that discussion with the whole locker room leader thing last week. But it's true. He has been around for 5 years on the main roster now. He's been on top for majority of it. He's a top guy. So I guess they want to keep on keeping him strong. But I think the better thing would be is to put over a new guy. And I think that's what Lesnar should be doing. Pick a guy that Lesnar respects, he likes, and obviously if Lesnar lost to Strowman, it's not going to really kill Lesnar anyways if they did get him back for another one. It would definitely help Strowman a lot. But that would be my plan anyways, because like I said, WWE needs more stars, not less. So if you're going to lose a star, you replace one right there. And Strowman, he is a main event guy, but I think he needs that one big legitimate victory to put him to that next level. But anyways, moving on to Monday Night Raw. And we'll start it off with the one we've all been talking about, the big Kurt Angle reveal. We were all wondering, what the hell is this going to be? We all thought, okay, is Stephanie going to get involved? Triple H get involved? And maybe we set up for a SummerSlam match between the two. Nope. Something that I don't think anyone really predicted. If you did, well done to you. But I certainly didn't see it coming, because it just didn't... The way they were building the storyline up, the payoff just didn't make any sense. They said, oh, this could ruin me. This could hurt my family. My family may not, my wife might leave me type of thing. I could lose my job over this. I could lose my family. And the other day, it's just like, all right, you hooked up with a girl when you're in college, apparently, and she had a kid that you didn't know about. I mean, how many times does this happen to someone? Happens all the time. It's, not that big of a deal to be ashamed of. And considering Kurt Angle's already got kids with good old Karen, I'm sure his new wife isn't all that upset at him for doing that. So realistically, the storyline doesn't make any sense, the way that we're building it up. And it's Jason Jordan. And again, does that make any sense? I mean, some say they kind of look alike. Yeah, I mean, apart from the skin color variation, but that's fine. Jason Jordan, I guess he could pass as Kurt Angle's son, I suppose. Many believe it should have been Chad Gable. But to me, if it was Chad Gable, it's almost too obvious. Yes, it could have been like, okay, I wanted to be an Olympian like my father, blah, 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 blah. Wrestling, I love wrestling because of my dad, etc. But then it's like, well, is that too much of a coincidence? Jason Jordan still has the amateur background, which I'm sure they needed him to have. He needed that background. He needed that credibility to be Kurt Angle's son. Like Kurt Angle said, he's, a 3-sport athlete or something like that. So he needed that sporting background to, otherwise, if they had some scrub like Kurt Hawkins be his son and he's really done nothing, hasn't got that legitimate, he may, I don't even know, but I'm just saying it for example. Heath Slater, I don't know. But, so it'd have to be someone who has that background. I guess Jason Jordan does. But I guess it would explain a little bit why Chad Gable's been on his own a bit as of late, and Jason Jordan's been away from Chad Gable. What it does do is it does break up, yet again, another tag team. So, WWE just have this obsession with breaking all their teams up right now. Enzo and Cass is done. Epico and Primo, I think, have left the company or are going to. We saw DIY break up at NXT. Now American Alpha are gone. Hype Bros are a bit shaky at the moment. They could be on their way out. So, just when SmackDown starts sorting out their tag division, now you take away one of their better teams. And albeit they haven't done a lot with the American Alpha for a while now, so this is a good thing for their future and their character direction. But I still thought the team had a lot more in them. I would have brought Gable over with Jason Jordan and said, hey, I think Chad Gable's great too. Let's bring him over. If he's your friend, he's your close ally, then I should try and get him over too. But instead, Kurt Angle didn't even care. Jason Jordan didn't even care. And they said, oh, hey, Chad Gable, I've been teaming with you for the last couple of years. Well, screw you. I'm going over to Raw with my daddy. So that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I just thought that was a little bit silly. But look, it does give Chad Gable a chance to be a singles on his own. And I think with the matches he had with AJ and other guys, I think he's proven that he can hang by himself. I think he is a really good in-ring talent. And his promos are the issue. They're not bad. They're not, today's standard promos are really poor all across the board. Not many people in the WWE can cut a promo. There's probably a handful of guys who can actually cut a promo in this company. Most other guys are passable at best, and they get by without being terrible. Some guys are terrible, like a Roman Reigns, but Chad Gable is passable. He can form a sentence, he can speak good enough. It's fine. Jinder Mahal, he's terrible, but he's the world champion, so what does it really matter? And Roman Reigns has been pushed forever, so does it really matter these days? Not as much. So the only thing that really holds him back is his promos. Yes, he is a bit smaller in size, but he's an Olympian. So that kind of makes it all irrelevant, in my opinion. If you are a legitimate world-class wrestler, Olympian wrestler, that to me, size has to be thrown out the window. Kurt Angle's not the biggest guy either. He's like, 5'9", 5'10". He's not the biggest guy either, so they pushed him to... Yes, he had a huge size in terms of, muscle mass and things like that, but in terms of height, not so much. But, so that didn't really hold him back, and Gable's a bit smaller, but I think with that legitimized background, I think they should be working on that. And it is a shame that I guess Gable could be pushed aside in terms of Jason Jordan, because Jordan is obviously, 6'1", 6'2". He's got a good size about him. He's got a good look. I think they've always seen Jason Jordan as the star of the group, albeit, I think everyone else has kind of said Chad Gable is the star. I think I would have said the same. I think most people would as well. I think Chad Gable's the reason why the team was successful to begin with, because let's not forget, at NXT, Jason Jordan was doing absolutely nothing before Chad Gable was coming around. Jordan was struggling on his own, and the American Alpha kind of saved him. So, can Jordan succeed on his own? I mean, if Kurt Angle's there as his mentor, if they put him in his corner, if he's there to give him advice, things like that, then I guess he has to, in a way. But this is a big step up for him. This is a guy who's been a tag team wrestler only, and now you basically give him not a main event storyline, but a pretty big deal. I mean, this is your Kurt Angle's son, you're the GM's son. You're going to be in some big high-profile matches from now on. So, wouldn't shock me if he is competing for that Intercontinental Championship pretty soon. Some people think, he's going to be the next Universal Champion. No way. I don't think they're going to go that far with him. I think they realize if they went that far, it would be hated on. Even giving him the Intercontinental Championship soon would be a mistake, but slowly building him into the mid-card, and then maybe in 6 months' time, he comes around, and maybe if The Miz is still the champion, then he could be the guy to take down The Miz. But, look, he's got a good size about him. He's a good athlete. Can't talk either. His promo ability is probably worse than Gable, but if Kurt Angle's there to do all the talking for him, then that's fine. So, look, I think it could work. I think there's something there. I think, it's worth a shot, worth a risk, but I just felt like the storyline, they hyped it up for, 2 or 3 months, this big deal that's going to kill Kurt Angle. And, it turns out to be this. And, Corey Graves, some friend he is, I guess, him and Jason Jordan kind of, talking about it and didn't really say anything. And I guess the storyline is that Corey Graves knew about it before anyone else. So I guess, is Corey Graves a detective now? Is he the inside guy? Has he got all the dirt on everyone? And what's going on there? I don't even know. I mean, Corey Graves is starting to get involved in these storylines. He exposed Big Cass. Now is exposing this storyline. Is that his new gimmick? He's the go-to guy for all the inside goss? I don't know. But it's just weird. It was just a weird storyline. Could have been amazing. But look, if Jason Jordan becomes a star out of this, then that's absolutely fine and it's all worth it. But if he fizzles out, they give him a big push that he's not ready to handle yet, and he fizzles out and it's, it's a complete failure, then I guess it's a thumbs down. A few other little things on Raw. The Hardy Boys, I thought they were going to take them off TV until SummerSlam and have them return as broken. Was not the case. It didn't appear to be the case. Still teasing it and starting to set up for, I'm guessing, a match at SummerSlam with a Revival, which I think is the right direction to go. But now, where does the Tag Team Champions go? I don't even know what they've got planned there for them. They need another babyface team on Raw, so they need to start doing something there. They've got some heel teams, but lacking a babyface team on Raw to go up against Sheamus and Cesaro. The purple ropes for the Cruiserweight matches are now gone. At least it was for this week. Could be back next week. We'll see. But maybe they had a lazy week. Maybe they couldn't be bothered. But the purple ropes appear to be gone, which I think is a step in the right direction. At least for the production guys. At least for the actual show. Now we don't have 10 minutes without a match, because we know they're setting up for the Cruiserweight matches with the purple ropes. And then after the match is done, they have to quickly change it back to the red ropes afterwards. So, at least for the guys working there, it's not ridiculous. And we don't need purple ropes. It doesn't need to be changed. Keep it red. It's fine. If they're on Raw, act like they're on Raw. Don't act like they're on their own separate, segregated show. They're already segregated enough. Let's try and mingle them in a little bit on Raw. Seth and Dean appear to be more in sync and together a little bit more. So, I think it's a definite that, Dean and Seth are back together. And honestly, this is the best thing that you could do for Dean Ambrose. This is the first time in a while I've been really interested in Dean Ambrose, because Seth Rollins is with him. I like what they did with Seth Rollins saying, hey, if you got an issue with me, get it out of your system now, hit me, go on. And he apologized for the first time, obviously, so they're kind of airing that out. I'm glad they continue that storyline. If they had just said, hey, remember me, we used to be friends, and they just kind of went with it, I think that would have been silly. I'm glad they kind of addressed it. They've worked with it, and Dean's willing to kind of forget in the name of beating up The Miz, I suppose. So we'll see how that handicap goes. Is there going to be a triple threat for the championship at SummerSlam? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just, again, another tag team match. Maybe they need to find a third man for a six-man. But then you'd probably be thinking, well, it's got to be Roman Reigns, but it's obviously not going to be. And that might be the only way Roman Reigns gets cheered, by the way, if he comes out for the actual Shield reunion. But I don't think it's really worth doing a Shield reunion for the Miztourage. No offense to them, but come on. So, yeah, I don't mind these two guys being together. They've obviously had Reigns and Dean Ambrose buddy before, so I guess it's been enough time now where Seth and Dean can kind of do it. And they had Roman and Seth be buddy as well, a little bit as well. Women's Championship seems like they're doing a Fatal 4-Way. They're adding Bayley back into the mix. Not a big fan of that. Bayley's on the shit list. Bayley has just been the drizzling shits, but they've got nothing else for her to do because WWE just can't book more than one storyline for the women. They can only have one storyline going. And you look on SmackDown, how many multi-women matches have we seen? 2 Money in the Banks, a 5-way now. It's getting ridiculous. Look, I like multi-man, multi-women matches, whatever. I like Fatal 4-Ways. I like triple threats. You guys probably know that. I think they're good when they need it. When you got 4 legitimate contenders, and they all deserve it, sure. But when you just kind of like looking for the SmackDown side of things, look at that. Like Tamina, what has she done? Not much. Lana just throwing her in there. Natalya just gets beat all the time. They really deserve a title shot. And you look at Raw and you go, okay, Bayley just spent the last few months getting beat up every week by Alexa Bliss, losing the title matches all the time. Nia Jax never really had a title shot, so I think, yes, she probably deserves one. And Sasha, yeah, I guess she won that match. But then again, Nia Jax lost it, so it should just be a one-on-one. I don't think there needs to be a Fatal 4-Way just for the sake of it, just to get more women on the show. I mean, is SummerSlam now the next WrestleMania where everyone needs to be on the show? Everyone needs to have a match on the card? I guess it is a 4-hour show, so I don't know. But, yeah, I just feel like you don't need to push a multi-woman, multi-man, whatever type match just for the sake of it. One match, though, that does need it and does deserve it is obviously the men's match. The Samoa Joe, Lesnar, Strowman. Braun Strowman obviously coming out, returning after a couple of weeks off. And surely they're setting up for a Fatal 4-Way. It has to be, right? You can't just have Strowman come out, beat up Roman, beat up Joe, who had a pretty good match. You can't just have him come out there and, do all that and then not do a Fatal 4-Way. It'd be ridiculous. So surely we're getting a Fatal 4-Way, which is the right call. Absolutely, 100% the right call. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good. But that's your Raw coverage. And it's interesting that we had so much to talk about on Raw. And on SmackDown, I literally have nothing to say because I did not care. I did watch it. The only thing I wanted to talk about was kind of Chad Gable getting a bit of a solo, but we already kind of covered that earlier on. Other than that, there's nothing else to say. SmackDown to me is just, it's just a blur. It seems to me it's like the same thing every week. It's just, all right, we have a tag team main event, Nakamura and AJ. Well, it's Cena in there one week. We'll just change the guys around. It seems like the same format. Ginger's not doing much. Randy's not doing much. Just a promo every week. Same promo. It's just, there's not a lot there. There's just, the tag team stuff's going okay, but now even that's starting to dip away a little bit after that great rap battle thing. The Breezango, what's going on with that? Who's going to be the mystery team is interesting. Hopefully it's a new team. I doubt it. It's probably going to be Ascension again. But, or maybe even Epico and Primo. I don't know. But it's probably going to be someone we don't give a shit about. So, yeah. I mean, it's just an interesting time. I don't know. It's just a bit weird. I don't know what to really say. There's a lot of things on the SmackDown to just complex me. I mean, Luke Harper's doing nothing. Ty Dillinger continues to get nothing. Another pre-show match with Aiden English coming up that nobody wanted. So there's just a few guys there that just are doing nothing, got no momentum at all. But there's no reason why that's the case, because it's not like there's a lot of guys in the mid-card that are filling up all the time. There's not really. It's just not happening. You know, a lot of these guys that should be getting some airtime just doing absolutely nothing. So, you know, it's fair enough when your job guys are not getting on TV every week. But someone like Ty Dillinger, who gets a reaction every single time he comes out, and you do nothing with him, you have him come out, and if he has a match, he's probably gonna lose. It's just a waste. It's just a waste. And Luke Harper's such a tremendous athlete, can move around like a big man, like no one else they've really got, and they just do nothing with him. So it just complexes me. I just can't get my head around it. But we do have the Battleground preview. We will talk about the matches and give my predictions on these matches, although I'm not looking forward to this pay-per-view whatsoever, but we will get into it. So we mentioned the pre-show match, Ty Dillinger and Aiden English. Surely Ty Dillinger wins, but as I said last time we had this match, I mean, what culture said Aiden English is going to get the push of a lifetime. He's going to get a big push, probably win the belt. Well, his push never even begun because he just lost every single match. He had a promo a couple times. Other than that, he just continues to lose. So, once again, what culture is full of shit. But I don't even know why people still watch that. I don't know. But we have Sami Zayn versus Mike Kanellis. We saw Mike Kanellis' in-ring debut. Not a lot to really, go on about. Some people have been telling me, hey, I think Sami Zayn's going to win this, and he's going to get a big push after it into the championship and probably take Jinder on at SummerSlam for the championship. I've been reading a lot about that. I don't see it whatsoever. Sami Zayn is Dolph Ziggler 2.0. Sami Zayn is there to get beaten by the next guy coming through. He's there to have a good match, make the other guy look good, and that's it. And I think Sami Zayn already got bitched out by Jinder a few weeks ago, so why on earth would they do that if they had big plans for Sami Zayn at SummerSlam? They're not. So, in my opinion, I think Mike Kanellis is going to win. I think Maria's going to get herself involved, distract the ref, Kanellis will cheat, grab the tights, feed on the ropes. Something simple to cheat and get the win and make out with Maria afterwards. And I think that's probably the way it should go. If you got a new guy and they see something in this guy, then you got to give him the win. Even if you do sacrifice Sami Zayn, but let's be honest, Sami Zayn's been sacrificed. He's done. He is just going nowhere. So if they see anything in Mike Kanellis, you might as well just run with it, because Sami Zayn at this point isn't really worth protecting. And I know a lot of people love Sami Zayn, but he's got no momentum. So don't even bother. Don't even worry too much about him. We've got Nakamura versus Baron Corbin. Now, Nakamura debuted a few months ago. If you had said to me, can you name a list of guys that you are excited to see Nakamura have a match against in the next few months? I'll tell you this, Baron Corbin does not make the list. So why is this happening? I don't know. Two guys that Baron Corbin they love. They love Baron Corbin. They see him as a star. Now, do I? Absolutely not. I think he is a poor man's Braun Strowman over on SmackDown. Braun Strowman is a big deal. He's going to be a star. He's the next Kane. Whereas Baron Corbin, he's not even... he's got some height. He's tall. He's not like a monster tall. But he hasn't got the size or the look. He's balding. He just looks terrible. But he's a Money in the Bank winner. But Money in the Bank doesn't really mean a lot for WWE in terms of booking. Money in the Bank winners often lose all the time until it's time for them to cash in. So I think they do that because they make you think, oh man, this guy's on a losing streak. He's never going to cash in. And boom, when he does, it's a big surprise. And all of a sudden, he's now unbeatable. And he's just a world champion. He's a huge threat. No one can stop him. It's just ridiculous. To me, if you got a Money in the Bank winner, you book him to win. You book him to start getting momentum slowly, and eventually gets to this point where he starts to believe that now's the time. I'm winning. I'm starting to beat some of the best guys. I'm ready for the championship. It's time to cash in. Instead, WWE, for whatever reason, have them lose for 6 months, and then they decide to cash in all of a sudden, and they go for it. It doesn't make a good champion. I think now with WWE, surely they've learned that this whole hot-shotting a guy into the championship just doesn't work. This whole Jinder Mahal thing has been an absolute colossal failure. And I get people still like Jinder for whatever reason, but I'm sorry, I said it the day it happened that this was going to fail. This was a bad idea, and I guess I hate to be the one to bring the bad news, but it has been a terrible failure. Now, Baron Corbin, to be fair, hasn't been hot-shot. He's been slowly built. He's been winning matches. It's been a slow build. He hasn't had a championship, I don't think. So he's skipping the IC title and the US title. I mean, that probably is a mistake. I still think you've got to go the traditional route of winning the US, holding that onto that for a while, then you go for the world title. I still think that's a relevant strategy, but they don't see that. They see the US as basically the guy that they like the most who isn't the world champion holds it. You know, whoever's not doing anything, who's not competing for the world title that they really like, then they give the world title to. So AJ's basically, you know, apart from Cena, he's probably the number 1 or number 2 babyface, him and Orton, whatever. So now, of course, they're saving AJ and Jinder for later on. You know, whilst they're not doing anything with AJ in the world title picture, they give him the US title. Whereas it should be Ty Dillinger or Luke Harper as the US champion. A mid-card guy who's on the rise, who's on the build, who's, you know, the future. He should be US champion, but they don't do that. They see as, all right, a guy who stepped down from the world title should be that. And look, that's fine to give the championship credibility, but at the same time, it just means that a lot of your mid-card guys are doing nothing because they're not credible enough to take on AJ and be a believable enough opponent. So you leave out a lot of opportunities for a lot of the other guys on the roster, as we've seen on SmackDown. The Miz, on the other hand, well, I don't think we see him as world title material, and they've got a few guys that are up and down competing for there, so it's a little bit different. I think The Miz has that potential to go forward, and I think he's been stuck in the IC for a little bit too long that he's kind of forever there. So that's kind of his world title to him. That's probably the best he's going to get. So it's a little bit different. But I think we all know AJ is going to win the world title back at some point. Kevin Owens maybe as well. So it's just a delay and inevitable, and giving him a championship just to hold, rather than giving him a championship because, okay, we're going to use this title to help him progress. We're going to use this title to help him get over. So I don't know about that, but that's just the way they do it at this point. But, yeah, so look, I think Nakamura will beat Baron Corbin at the end of the day. I think we kind of went into a bit of a tirade, but I think Nakamura will beat Baron Corbin. We may as well speak on the US title match now, AJ and Owens. It's very possible they might give it back to Kevin. I think they did the AJ Styles title switch just to do something big on a house show and for MSG. Because they see the MSG house show as one of their biggest ones of the year, so they try and do something on that. And Kevin Owens was just starting this whole America gimmick, and if he doesn't have the title, then it kind of shuts that down. So I think they'll probably give it back to him, and maybe a third and final at SummerSlam, or they change gears and go in a different direction and bring someone else in there. Fatal 5-way elimination match to determine the number 1 contender for the Women's Championship: Charlotte, Becky, Natalya, Tamina, and Lana. I'm a little surprised that Becky got the win over Charlotte, made her tap out. It just goes to show that Charlotte's just really falling down the ladder. She's kind of been normalized with the other women instead of kept as a special entity. I mean, I guess she did need to be brought back on the other level of the other women. Otherwise, she's too far ahead of them all. But if she did lose, to me, that would suggest that she may win at the pay-per-view. And I know that's ridiculous to say, but that's just how they do it. I think they maybe gave Becky Lynch the big win to believe that, hey, maybe Becky Lynch is going to win it, and at the end of the day, probably Charlotte might pick up the win. Naomi and Charlotte at the pay-per-view. Because, look, Tamina, please stop making her talk. Every time she talks, she just says something stupid. You got to stop making her talk. Natalya, is that a big SummerSlam match? Natalya and Naomi, not really. Maybe a couple months ago you could have said Natalya and Naomi was going well. Maybe with the whole welcoming committee thing, but they're kind of gone away from that idea now, so Natalia's kind of been a little bit less relevant, and Lana's been beaten 1,000 times, so she should just... I think everyone in the match should just gang up on Lana and just beat her up and, take her out early so she doesn't have to do anything. So to me, I think Charlotte should probably win. Flag match between Cena and Rusev. I think we all know who's winning that. And his name is John Cena. Look, Rusev, been saying it since Jinder won. It should have been Rusev in that position, not Jinder. But for whatever reason, they went with Jinder, and Rusev continues to be fair to play to shit. I love how they hype up. Every time they mention it, John Cena's big return. Rusev, he was gone for the same length of time as Cena. But they never even bothered to say, oh, Rusev returned as well. It's all Cena. So, goes to show who they care more about. They don't give a flying fuck about Rusev. They only care about Cena. Cena's winning. Flag match is a way to protect Rusev at the same time. He doesn't have to take a pin. But, Cena's winning. Usos versus the New Day for the tag titles. Don't be surprised if this is the match of the night. These two teams work really well together. Looking forward to this one, I guess. I think... They may have the Usos hang on again here. I mean, the New Day had such a long title reign. Do you want to go back to that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure at this point. Is it still too soon to give them the championships? It's nearly about time where you could start to accept it again, but I still think the Usos might be the team. If they were going to do a title change, maybe push it for a SummerSlam match, if they can, hold out on it. So, yeah, that might be what I would probably try and do there. Because they've got no other teams to feud with the Usos, so they could do a New Day title change, give the belts to the New Day, and that forces another match at SummerSlam, yeah. And I guess that way you get a title change in this pay-per-view to kind of make it a little bit more interesting, but I still think that probably doing the title change at SummerSlam is the way to go. I think, I don't know, I'm kind of old school in the way where if I've got a major pay-per-view coming up, I want to do a title change on that major pay-per-view. Save it for the big crowd, the big audience, the big market, the big pay-per-view. Save it for then. This is just meant to be a filler pay-per-view. This is, look at the card. It's filler. It is absolutely filler. So, yeah, if I'm going to do a title change, I'm saving it for pay-per-view. Last but certainly last and least. Thank God. Jinder and Randy, again, Punjabi match. They've dusted off the Punjabi prison match. Now, think about this. If I asked you 6 months ago, name 3 match types that you are wanting to see back in the WWE, is the Punjabi prison one of those matches? A match that I don't think anyone really thought was great. I don't think anyone really is wanting to see. I don't think it's a match that anyone really cared for when it happened to begin with. I think most people would say, oh, I'd like to see War Games. I want to see a Buried Alive match. I want to see an Inferno match. Again, something like that. But Punjabi prison? I mean, come on. So, look, it makes sense. Jinder Mahal, the Indian thing, hey, Great Khali did it. Great Khali's my hero. I'm going to do what he did. Sure, whatever. But I'm not expecting much out of this match. I think Jinder's going to probably win again. I don't know what's going to happen. What's going to happen next with Jinder? I think the signs would probably say Cena is the next guy to take on Jinder at SummerSlam. It could be Nakamura. I don't see anyone else probably in that role. Some people say Sami Zayn. I don't see that. So, to me, it's either between Nakamura and Cena. And to me, you've got to get the belt off Jinder. It's just been a failed experiment. Get it off him. If they still want to push the guy, have him go up against AJ Styles, compete for the US title. If they still want to try and do something with him and salvage this, go there. But keeping him around this world title picture, I think, is a mistake. So, yes, I think he'll beat Randy again. And what will Randy do after that? I don't know. Probably take 3 months off, probably for the best. But yeah, so that's that. Maybe Randy will probably feud with Baron Corbin next. I could probably see that. Not that I actually want to see it, but I probably can see that happening. Last couple of pieces of the news before we get into the questions. Rey Mysterio Big rumours going around that he's probably going to be signing with Global Force Wrestling. He was in discussions with WWE apparently. But I think it's looking more and more likely he's going to Global Force. He was seen taking pictures with some of the Global Force guys, including Karen Jarrett. So I think with the schedule and the tapings, comes in once or twice a month, maybe does a live event here and there. He can probably go and work other, indie shows, do whatever he wants, that freedom. And such an easy schedule. I think that's probably the best place for Rey to go. I can't see him going full-time on the road again. He's, one match away from retirement, in my opinion, quite honestly. I think at any time his knee could buckle and that's it for him. So he's really on his last legs. He's only 42, but, he's not a good 42. Some guys are 42 and you say, man, he's got 3 more years left in him. Rey Mysterio, to me, it's like, all right, he could be on his last run. He may end up retiring in Global Force. He maybe, he's got a few matches left in him. I don't think he's got that long left. So, I could be very wrong, but look, when he was in WWE, his last WWE run, he had, probably 6 months of activity in, 3 or 4 years. He was gone for so long. Just couldn't stay on the park. He was just injured the whole time. So, I think going to Global Force, working an easy schedule, is probably the best thing for him. And Global Force really do need Rey, really badly. So, for the sake of that company, I hope they get him. I hope they can do something with him. I hope they can use him. And hopefully he just helps that brand, because God knows they need it. If this Del Rio thing happens and falls through and Del Rio's got to go, Lashley's leaving, well, we all know they need someone. And Rey would be a terrific guy in that role. Speaking of Del Rio, Paige, well, there is some more leaked photos of Paige that have been revealed, and it seems as though we are getting set for another Paige sex tape to be released. So keep an eye out for that. We've got another one. It just never ends with Paige. The scandal just never ends. I'm starting to feel sorry for her. She's just got so many skeletons coming out of the closet. It's just a snowball, isn't it? It just never ends. Just continues to build. She just can't stay out of the news. So it wouldn't shock me if this gets revealed in the next few days. And once again, she's back in the news, and we're all hanging our heads in shame once again. It would be interesting to see if it's with Maddox again. I'd probably say it would be. So, yeah. But that is all the news we have. We do have some questions that we're going to get into before we wrap up the show. So let's start that. All right, first up is from Roy the Boy. Shout out to Roy the Boy. Always leaves some really good questions every single week. So thank you, Roy. His question is, do you think superstars should have more actual songs as their themes instead of instrumentals? Absolutely. But the problem is WWE do not want to pay to use those songs. They don't want to pay for the rights. Look, WWE, I think Road Dogg came out and said that they're cutting back on pyro. They are obviously not really trying to be creative with their stages and their sets. They're cutting back on every production cost that they can. So that means that the chances of us ever seeing real songs again, very, very unlikely. Only, I think, main event top guys who request that could get the power to do it. For example, CM Punk, for example. Only guys with some leverage could probably work that. Maybe a Chris Jericho, but they've even shut down Chris Jericho. Jericho's wanted to change his theme song a number of times. I think Avenged Sevenfold was one of the choices he wanted, but it just didn't happen. I think he wanted to use a Stone Sour song or a Slipknot song as well. That didn't happen either, so it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen at all. So WWE just don't want to pay for it. Cameron Fox, do you think Cesaro will win a world title in WWE? He's getting up there in age. It's looking more and more likely that's not going to happen. I think if he was going to get that main event push, it probably would have happened by now. He's been on the main roster for 5 years. But sometimes it can take you more than 5 years to get there. He's having a pretty successful run as a tag team guy, but for whatever reason, Vince just doesn't see him as a top guy. Cameron Fox has another one. He says, do you think Paige will leave WWE? I think when her contract expires, she will be gone. Unless they really want to try and salvage her, but there's just more and more dirt that's coming out. It's just more and more of a liability. This one's from Kronk. you think Shelton Benjamin will help SmackDown since it's rumored he has signed a new deal? Yeah, I heard about the rumors, but it hasn't kind of been any updates about that anytime soon. So, yeah, look, it could happen. He could be back. If he does come back, it will help. But let's be honest, as we said earlier on the show, what's SmackDown's mid-card right now? It's really non-existent. So is Shelton Benjamin going to be fighting for the world title? I don't think so. Could he have a match with the likes of AJ and Kevin Owens over the US title? Yes. Yeah, probably. But if SmackDown had a bit more of a mid-card, Dillinger, Harper, Rowan, those types of guys in there, sure. I think that probably the best thing for Shelton Benjamin would be to pair him up with someone. Form a tag team, have him be a veteran, team him up with a young guy, and, let Shelton Benjamin's, popularity or reputation help guide the new guy coming through. I personally think that's the key to most of the veterans. For Mark Henry, for example, that's what I would have done. Golden Truth, pairing them together, yeah, it was okay for a while, but I think realistically, if you have a veteran team up with a young guy, the young guy gets the rub from being with the veteran, and they get to learn things. The veteran's going to teach them things. They're going to just become a better worker. Instead, they keep these veterans on the road and working in more of a singles capacity, and yeah, they do lose more often than not, and that helps the guys coming through, but just sometimes pairing them up with the guy coming through can help. I mean, look at, I guess the last example I can think of at the top of my head, it might be Team Hell No, with Kane, who getting up there was paired with Daniel Bryan and worked brilliantly, but that's, I don't think we're always going to get that type of success, but, sometimes pairing them with a younger guy can really help. This one's from Fat Trugger Gaming. What are your views on how WWE used ECW when they brought it back in 2006 until its cancellation? I think it was cancelled in 2009, I believe. Look, ECW started off okay. I mean, RVD is the champion. I think Kurt Angle was brought over there. So it started off pretty well, and then I think they started, having Vince as the champion, Big Show as the champion, and, it just wasn't kind of doing it. Like, they had Lashley in there, that was good. CM Punk was in there, that was good. But it wasn't ECW. Like, it wasn't the same that we got from One Night Stand. It was basically WWE's main event, really. Like, the lower end guys were on the show with one or two big names kind of put in there, but it really wasn't even their big names. Their big guns were all on SmackDown and Raw. Just the extra guys were on ECW, and they didn't have a lot of the ECW names in there for long. They tried to kind of make their own ECW guys, and it just was doomed to fail. Really, it was. I mean, it had a chance to succeed, but I think once Heyman was gone, I think that was when it really, was done. But then they dragged it out, and they had a few guys. I think, Chavo was the champion or something. They had a few strange champions there. The belt really lost a lot of credibility. And it just wasn't good. It just wasn't good at all. But, I missed quite a bit of it. I didn't watch WWE in 2009, and I stopped watching halfway through 2008, so I did miss quite a bit of it. I think I missed the worst part of it, thank God. But, look, yeah, it started off okay. I liked the invasion that they did. I liked the storylines that they did, involving that. Obviously, watching 2005, they did One Night Stand, and they had the ECW invasion there. That was cool, but, some of the big names that were involved in ECW, Rhino, the Dudleys, they were in TNA. They weren't in the WWE. They weren't able to be in ECW. So there was a few key notable names that weren't around. And obviously RVD got the huge push, and then they had to cancel that, so that kind of ruined all that. And yeah, it just went downhill. It was just, I guess, doomed to fail. I don't think they ever really knew what to do with it. They just kind of brought it back because of the success of One Night Stand, and they just said, oh, all right, what do we do now? Just a third brand. It was just too much. They couldn't make... Raw and SmackDown was still good at the time, but trying to force a third show and really deplete their roster even further, spread it out even further, was, especially when some of their veterans were starting to move on, that was tough. It was tough. It was probably never going to really work. Roy the Boy has a question. He says, will we ever see Lesnar have a match on Raw again? We spoke about it earlier. If he does leave WWE, I think there's a chance they might execute on that and hype that up for a big rating towards WrestleMania time. It's possible. But I think at the moment it's a big no, because they want to keep him special and they want to use him to push the network. Fat Triger Gaming has another one. He says, have you ever played any of the Fire Pro wrestling games? If so, which one was your favorite? Never played them. Is that the new one that has a new game out? I know there's a new wrestling game out that some people tell me to get. I looked at it. Obviously the graphics are, not current day. They're kind of that, that old school style, so which I don't mind. But I just looked at it and said, maybe I might enjoy it. But yeah, I haven't picked it up. I wouldn't be against playing it if they, if the company, for example, said, hey, we want you to play the game, do a video on it. I probably would. But, I would check it out. But at the moment, I have no interest, especially right now. I'm really enjoying Total Extreme Wrestling. I'm still trying to get my other stuff organized. I haven't really had a chance to kind of branch out and try another game at the moment. But, I wouldn't be against playing it. Thomas Bell, I know you've been watching WWE since 2005, but what is the oldest match you've seen? I wouldn't be able to tell you, because I often go back and just watch clips of some things. But I'll tell you this, I normally don't go back and watch matches that are in the 80s. Sometimes I've seen the first couple of WrestleManias in its entirety. That's probably the oldest pay-per-view I've seen, probably WrestleMania 1. But I don't normally go back any further than that, just because I don't know all of the names, and wrestling is very different as well. I haven't seen any, for example, I haven't really watched anything in the Bruno era or the Superstar Billy Graham era. I haven't really gone back and watched anything along those lines. I've seen some clips, but not a lot. But mainly I just stick around to current day, Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, in some of the Golden Age stuff. Not a lot. Maybe some of the new generation. Generally though, I'm kind of, if I'm going to watch wrestling, I want it to be probably mid to early 2000s. That was kind of like, obviously, as I said, started watching in 2005. That was kind of like when I really got into wrestling, so a lot of those characters I'm really interested in, compared to some of the olden day guys, not so much, because that wasn't my era. If I was born then, I'm sure that's all the stuff I'd be watching. Fat Trigger's got another one. He says, what DLC would you like to see on WWE 2K18? I want to see people that should be in the game. If someone debuts down the line, they should be in the damn game. I want to see them patched in. I want to see attires being added as DLC for free. I don't think we should pay for that. I think I'd like to see attires, updated arenas, for example. When we got the new arenas, and when we got the game, I think they were outdated, weren't they? We had the whole draft, the whole brand new look, the whole new SmackDown and Raw arenas. They were completely outdated from the first day, and they never patched it in. It was just ridiculous. So, yes, I want to see updated arenas, updated logos, updated titles. Patch in and make this stuff DLC for free. And paid DLC, keep doing the wrestler packs. That's fine. But don't make the only wrestler pack that people want to get the last DLC that comes out. For example, the current day guys, when the club got patched in. Don't make that the last pack. Let's get that a little earlier this time. That would be nice. But yeah. Last question, Oshar Bryant. He says, do you think CM Punk will return with all the rumors going on right now? Well, I kind of forgot to mention this, but the rumor is that WWE wants CM Punk back. He's 38. It's possible. I haven't really addressed it because I don't see it coming into fruition. I don't think it's going to happen. It could. Absolutely could. But at this point, it's more likely no. But once we start hearing a few things from CM Punk on his side, then we might talk more about it. But look, if WWE could get CM Punk back, even if it is on a more of a part-time basis, that would be huge. I think a CM Punk return would be absolutely massive right now. I think we all want to see him back. And look, if Daniel Bryan had another match, that'd be cool. But if CM Punk came back for another run, that would be amazing. That would be huge. That's probably, apart from maybe The Rock coming back, that's probably the biggest name that they could get to come back. and do another match. I mean, Batista maybe, but I think fans would rather see CM Punk, especially because he's still. I don't think he's in his prime anymore. Now he's 38 and hasn't wrestled for a little bit, but I still think he can go with the best. And look, Punk versus Rollins, Punk versus Joe, Punk versus AJ, maybe even another Punk Lesnar, Punk and Strowman. I'm sure Punk could make him look $1 million. Punk and Roman, why not? And look, even another Punk and Cena match. I think I'd love to see that again. There's so many new guys. Since CM Punk, since he left, I mean, a lot of these new guys are up and coming, have come, and now they're established. They're established. Some of them are main event guys, and plenty of guys that Punk can work with and have some great matches with. So, if he was going to come back, now's a good time, honestly. So, but I think if he comes back, he's getting that WrestleMania main event. I think that's going to be contractually obligated. CM Punk will main event WrestleMania, and probably the only way he'll get to do it is if he versus Roman Reigns. So, there you go. But look, if it happens, it'd be amazing. Just picture number 25 in the Royal Rumble. Cult of Personality hits. It give you chills. The reaction would be unbelievable, honestly. So, it's a dream, but hopefully it becomes a reality. We'll have to see. If things start going and WWE and CM Punk can start talking again, we'll see. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have time for this week's edition of the podcast. If you want to leave a question for next week's show, do so by leaving a comment in the YouTube comment section down below. Head over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/BrendanPlays. You can also leave a question there. We normally post it up every Wednesday, so keep an eye out for that. Leave a like on the page to make sure you don't miss it. We just uploaded NXT TakeOver, so check that out. SummerSlam's coming very, very soon as well. We've got a lot more Total Extreme Wrestling stuff coming out as well, so do not miss that. Plenty of stuff coming on the channel. I'm going to try and be a little bit more active on the channel, get more videos out for you guys to enjoy. So thank you very much for once again listening in on this podcast. If you can leave a like on it, that'd be amazing. If you can subscribe to see more, even better. And click the notification bell as well so you don't miss any episodes. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next week.